The question for Judge Griffin is as follows. You have served as a Wake County District Court judge since 2015. The members of NCADA, however, predominantly handle matters pending in Superior Court, Business Court, or the Industrial Commission. Can you tell us how your experiences at the district court level have helped prepare you to rule on appeals our membership may be handling before the Court of Appeals?
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Judge Jefferson Griffin, one of your district court judges. I'm elected in Wake County. Grew up in Nash County, started practicing in Lenoir County, and made my way to the city there to join the DA's office in 2010. It's always a good question when somebody asks you why it's a bad thing or why it's a handicap to be a judge. That's a good way to start out. And I can say, as to address the question directly, most of my practice has been in Superior Court. Began in Kinston at Wallace, Morris, Bark, Landis, and Stroud. And they brought me in to do civil defense, a lot of stuff that this crowd deals with, a lot of cases that y'all handle. So I traveled all over the eastern part of the state in that role and had a good time with it. Tommy Morris and PC Barwick did not slow down as much as they had anticipated, and I started doing a little bit of other stuff in the practice there. From there, I moved to the DA's office in Wake County, prosecuted cases from infractions to homicides, and most of my practice there was in Superior Court also. So as far as being in that venue, in that setting, I've say most of my practice has been in Superior Court. And I did do a brief stint at the Industrial Commission with then Chairman Heath between the DA's office and taking the bench. I worked on some policy issues for them there. As far as why being a district court judge is important to you all and to the people of North Carolina, I mean, you have concrete evidence of how I will be as a judge. And whenever I go to an endorsement process, whenever I get in front of people, I tell them that. You have an amazing resource in front of you to find out what kind of judge you're going to get. You've got, 5,000 lawyers in Wake County, and the criminal bar, the family law bar, they're in front of me all the time. I'm assigned to criminal cases, civil cases, all throughout the courthouse. And you have that resource to know what kind of judge I am. And I think if you ask folks, you'll know that I'm very well thought of, patient, have the right judicial temperament. And as far as how we operate in district court, we have some very good litigators in Wake County, and we use case law all the time. And I'll believe you, they bring it up, and we go through it, and we work through it. So that's not something that's foreign to me at all. One other thing I do, I'm a captain in the National Guard. So I still have a little bit of time to be an advocate when I'm in that role. I do operational law, rules of engagement for the commander. I'm in the 30th Armored Brigade Combat Team. But I do get to work with some of our soldiers in legal assistance, which is still fun. But it also reminds me that I'm not an advocate when I get in the courtroom, and I've proven that. With a background of doing civil defense and being a prosecutor, I think it speaks. A lot of people probably wouldn't bring this up at a defense bar meeting, or defense attorney meeting, but I got endorsed by the North Carolina Advocates for Justice. And having, it's no secret, a civil defense background and a prosecutor's background is not necessarily the folks they usually support. But again, it goes back to that concrete evidence of the folks who are in front of me in court. They know that I'm going to listen to them. They know that I'm going to treat them fairly. They know that I'm going to do my background work. They know that I'm going to research, and I'm going to come to a fair decision. So I think that's very important as well. A few things about me that you can't read on the paper. I volunteer with Step Up Ministry in Wake County. My wife Katie's here too. Katie's an attorney over at Smithmore Leatherwood. And while I was down in Fort Bliss, Texas on Army duty for 3 weeks, you may have seen her covering some events for me around the state. Very thankful for that. So thank you, Katie. I'm fearful that people might like her better than me, but that was expected. And also at home, I serve on the board of directors of the Wake County Bar. We actually met at my Kiwanis Club. Don't hear that a lot these days. Judge Sid Eagles introduced us, who works over her firm. I serve on the board of directors of that also. I'm committed to civic education in Wake County and our community. I spend a lot of time in the school system. And we were talking earlier, there's been a lot of debate about whether we elect judges or have them appointed. And one of the good things for me is getting throughout the state is that a lot of folks, I might be the only judge they ever meet in some of these rural areas. And I feel like I get to be an ambassador for you, for the justice system. And I appreciate your listening, your time. Ask for your support and your endorsement in this race. Thank you.